are talking about factoring trinomials. So we've already done where we did it, where we undistributed. Okay, so that was one way of factoring. Sometimes when you have a trinomial, you cannot undistribute it. There will be nothing that you can pull out of everything. So in this case, we're going to have to follow this pattern, where it looks really complicated, but once you hang of it, it's not. Okay, so when we're factoring trinomials, it's the opposite of foiling. So we're going to be unfoiling. Just to remind ourselves, they've given us x to FOIL. So we would go first x first, so x times x, and then outside is x times 3, inside 2x, and left times last would be 2 times 3. Okay, so notice that when we're foiling something like this, where we have an x plus a constant, that our inside and our outside terms will always be able to be combined. Right? Remember how this works? Yes? Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to look at this pattern down here. We're still foiling, but instead of using numbers, they're using ins and ins. Okay, so what they've done is they said, okay, well, first x first is so that I get its extra. Okay, then they say, well, I know since these insides and outsides are going to be able to be combined, they've already added them together. Okay, like they've done up here, where we had 3x plus 2x is 5x. They've already just taken those 3 and 2, put them together as a 5. So here they've taken in and in, put them together. Okay, in plus in. And then they said, well, last times last, that's going to be m times n. Okay, then they've said, well, m plus n, they're calling is b, and m times n is c. Follow me a little bit? Sort of?
Silence.
Okay, so what they've done is they're doing FOIL, right? But instead of numbers, they're just using ins and ins. Okay, so middle terms are going to be combined by having. Last term is when we're multiplying m times n. Okay, all right. So it says notice the coefficient, which is a number on the outside of the middle term. Is the sum of n and n. We are adding them, we can combine them together. The last term is the product of m and n because we are multiplying. So in order to undo FOIL, what we're going to do is we're going to look at this last term and we're going to find its factors, like we did before in that first section. So what are the factors of 8?
1, 8, 4.
Okay, anything else? Okay, so what these pairs are m and n. Okay, we are going to look for one of these pairs that when we add m and n, we're going to get the middle term. So we're looking for a pair that when I add, I'm going to get 6. Which pair should we choose? 2 and 4. Those 2 and 4 get us 6 in the middle. So all we have to do is fill out a pattern, which says x and x, and then we're going to say plus m and n. So 2. Okay, if you are not sure if you've done it right, FOIL it back. So, first x first, x squared, outside, inside, last. So we end up where we started? Yeah. So this is our answer. I'll follow me with myself some things there. Alright, does this make sense? It's pretty easy. All you have to do, look at the last term, find its factors, figure out what pair is going to get you the term. Voila, done. Okay, however, you have to be a little bit careful on example 2. What's different between example 2 and example 1?
You're subtracting.
Yeah, the minus in here. Okay, now let's just think for a second. With our FOIL,
How are you going to be subtracting?
well, we're going to be subtracting to get the middle term. Yes, but let's think. So last times last is what's going to get me 16, right? And it's a positive. So if I want to get a negative here, if I have a positive, when I multiply, I'm going to get a positive at the end. But when I add, am I going to get a negative in the middle?
No.
No. So let's try positive, negative. Does this work?
No, because that's a negative.
Because that gets a negative when we multiply. So if we have a negative, so that gives a positive. Right. negative times negative, it's still going to get us a positive at the end, but when I add negative and negative, I'm going to get negative in the middle. So I know I'm going to have two minuses. Anybody confused on how this works? Okay, so then we can just say, well, what are the factors of 16?
1, 16, 2, 8, 4, 4.
Okay, which pair is going to get us 10?
2 and
2 and 8.
Does it matter if we make small steps to be able to?
No, that would be fine. This would be the same thing. And in this case, since they're both negatives, it doesn't matter which one comes first. All right, good? Yes? All right. These are kind of fun, aren't they? Okay, example 3. So notice we've got positive in the middle and negative on the outside. So if we're going to be looking at symbols, are we going to have a positive positive, positive negative, or negative negative?
Positive, negative.
Positive negative. Okay, because positive times a negative gets us a negative on the outside, and if I am going to add to get a positive in the middle, the bigger number is going to have to be positive or negative. Which one?
Positive.
Bigger number is going to have to be positive. Okay, so then we think factors of 12.
1, 12, 2, 6, 3, 4.
Okay. Now, you have to be careful because we are subtracting these because we have two different sides. So when I am subtracting, which pair is going to get us a positive one? 3 and 4. So we're subtracting. Two different signs. Okay, bigger one, we said the bigger one had to be positive. We need a positive in the middle. So the 4 has to go with the positive, and the 3 goes with the negative. And again, if you are not sure which ones to go, pull them back. Make sure you get to where you started. If not, then something is wrong. Either your signs are wrong or you picked the wrong pair. Okay? All right, how about 4? What do we look at first? Okay, we got negative negatives. So,
Negative.
negative positive? Are you sure?
Yeah.
Yeah, because the negative times the positive is negative here. The bigger number is going to have to go with which one?
Negative.
With the negatives, because we've got a negative in the middle. Okay, so factors of 18. What do we get?
1, 18, 2, 9, 36.
Okay, are we going to be adding or subtracting these pairs to get negative 7?
No, subtracting.
We're subtracting. So we've got negative and a positive. We've got different signs, so we're really subtracting. So which pair, when we subtract, gets us negative 7? 2 and 9. Which one has to go with the negative?
Negative 9 plus 2.
Right. Could we have written it like this?
No. Because that would be negative, they'd be 7.
Right, it'd be a positive 7 because we'd have a positive 9 minus 2 is a positive 7, which would not work. Could I write it so that I had like, right negative there?
It's the same thing.
This is the same thing because I'm not changing the signs. 2 is still positive and 9 is still negative. I just flip-flop the symbols. All right, at the bottom, I have a little cheat sheet chart for you if you forget how the signs go. So if I have a positive, positive, I'm going to have a positive, positive in my parentheses. If I have a negative middle term, but a positive at the end, negative. If I have negatives at the end, and my middle term is a positive, that means the bigger has to be positive, and the middle term is a negative, the bigger has to be. Okay, any questions so far?
Can we use the QC in the class?
Okay, let's look at the back. Okay, we're still using our zero product property. That says if we are multiplying things and we get an answer of 0, at least one of those things that we are multiplying has to be equal to 0. So, when I'm looking at something with a trinomial, if I can set it equal to 0, that means that I can probably factor it out, unfoil it, and set each thing equal to 0, just like we've done before. So what I would do first is I would get this equal to 0. How can I get this 0? Okay. Can we factor the stuff on the left?
We unfold it.
We can unfoil it. So what are we going to do to unfoil it?
1 times, I don't know. 5 factors is
Okay. What are the factors of 6?
1, 6, 2, 3,
Okay. Then what do we do?
and what?
And so it would be 2 plus 3 equals 5.
2 plus 3 equals 5.
No, you have to have a negative.
You have to have a negative cheat sheet.
Negative 2?
It's x plus 3 and then x minus 2.
This?
Yes.
Will that work?
Equal 5.
It equals 5.
And 3 minus.
Oh, it's
X
6 and 1. 6 and 1. Why does this not work? It looks like it should. It's 2 plus 3 is 5. But why
add
does it not?
together and it's 5.
Right, because we're really saying 3 minus 2, which would be 1, which we don't want because we want a 5 in there. Alright, how are we going to fix this? What are we going to do?
Plus 6 minus 1.
Will that work? Yes. So always double check yourself. Always slowly back in your head. Make sure that you get the right thing. Alrighty. Then we can set each thing equal to 0. So 0 and 1. So x is going to be negative 6 and x is going to be 1. And again, if you wanted to check your answers, you can put it back in. We should do the same stuff. Comments? Okay. Last one says a sponsor for the school yearbook asked the length and the width of their photo, their ad be increased by the same amount in order to double the area of the photo. If the photo was originally 12 centimeters wide by 8 centimeters long, what should the new dimensions of the enlarged photo be? Okay, so you're going to ask a picture, and I'm assuming this is supposed to be like a screen. So the original photo is a 12 by 8. They want to increase it so that it's the same, increasing the same length and the same width. So they don't know how much they're going to increase it by. They're just saying that's an X. That's what we're trying to figure out is how much we want to increase it by, right? Okay. Another piece of information they tell us is they want to double the area. So since they want to double the area, I want to first figure out what's the area of the original. How are we going to do that?
4 times 8, 96. And so that means
So this would be the original area.
192 would be double that.
Because the area is the new, so they want to double it. 192? No, that's right. Okay, so we found the area of the old, all time A. They want to double it, so we doubled the old area to find the new area. The new area is 192. Alright, everybody good so far? Alright, so what can we do with this new area? What do we know it's equal to?
Equal to 12x times, or 12 plus x times 8 plus x equals 1.
Why do we have to say 12 plus x? Why isn't it just 12x?
You're not timesing it together. It's part of this.
Right, we just want to add x plus 12. That's going to give us the whole new side. Okay. Ow. The 0 thing. Okay, so you want to subtract this guy over?
Not sure. So,
What can we do?
we could FOIL it out, I guess.
Let's try that. So 12 times 8, I can do that.
96.
196?
96.
Okay, I was going to say that.
It's a little big.
96. Oh, yeah, duh. Okay, so then we've got 12x and 8x and x squared minus 192. Now what?
Plus 16 or 20.
What else could we put together?
96 negative 192.
Which would get us what?
96.
Negative 96, yep.
Negative 92.
does that help us? Or does it help us?
Well, you could have the 96 back over the. Oh, you factor.
Yeah, we did unfoil what we have now, right? Okay, so how are we going to unfoil that?
Well, it's kind of backwards, but you have to do the backwards of the mistake.
Right, if we wanted to, we could rewrite this if this helps. Does it help our brains if we put it in that order? Okay, so then you're right, we need to find the factors of 96. So we got 196, 2 and something.
48,
We take out 3, yeah.
32,
4 is what?
4.
No, it doesn't. Because it can't have the six.
Yeah.
That's
It's 4.
16, 4 and 24.
Yeah.
Doesn't fall.
5 is it, the 6 come out?
Yeah, well, it's so 62 and
16.
6 and 16? Okay, 7, probably wrong. 8.
Yeah, 8 will. 12.
Okay.
So
9 doesn't, 10 doesn't, and we're back to 12. All right, so now what? Since we looked at all the factors, what do we look for? We need to find 20. Okay, so thinking, I would look at signs.
Oh, it would be the 4 and 24. Yeah, the 12 plus 8, 12, 8 plus 12.
8 plus 12 gets us
no,
20.
it'd be
Or the 24.
4 and 24. Yeah, because subtract 4. 24 minus.
Okay, which pair? Because both of them, if we subtract, we get 20. If we add, we get 20.
You have to subtract.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Subtract. Why?
Because you're subtracting. Because 96 has to
So it'd be 24 minus 4.
Plus.
Yeah, x plus 24 times x minus
Okay, then what do we do?
0.
Okay, so it'll be equal to 0.
Oh, and then we do the.
So x equals negative 4. Negative 24 and x equals 4.
Okay, now we have two answers, which is true, because when we have an x squared, that means there are two answers. But in this case, one of them doesn't make sense. Which one doesn't make sense? Why not? Because you
Just
can
compare the negative dimension.
right, because we're looking for an actual sign, an actual length, which can't be negative, so we can't have that. So we found that x is 4, however, we are adding 4, because it asks what are the new dimensions. They don't want to know how much they're increasing it by, they want to know what the new dimensions would be. So how are we going to figure that out?
12 plus 4 and 8 plus 4.
So it's
12, and then that should equal 192.
does it, if we're equal to 192?
Yeah.
Yep. This is inches or something? Centimeters. Alright, any questions on this?
Sorry, I already did that.
But in this case,
You have to write it out on your work because